everyone. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, April 24th, and Mark has 74 days left to go in his sentence, plus a couple weeks. We don't know how much time in the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement custody, probably in a hot, crowded facility in Louisiana throughout August. But after that, he comes back home to Canada, and we're very excited. And he told me that he has been watching, I believe it's the basketball games. There's Toronto is the Raptors. Correct me if I'm wrong here. They're the team that's playing. Anyway, he said he was the lone Canadian cheering on for the basketball team. And he said it was like hilarious because he was yelling and shouting, and it was just like a funny TV show of a stereotypical sports guy just shouting at the television and all that. And he said they all find it really funny, but something about, I don't know the teams, but there's fans of LeBron James's team, but there's a bunch who don't like, and there's a big showdown. And Mark said, they're all being friendly to me now, but just wait until things progress. So sports ignorant right here, but I'm just saying Mark's having fun, and he's having so much fun that he's actually getting a prison-issue jersey remade to say Emery 420 with the Toronto Raptors colors or whatever logo, or somehow he's getting that made. And as you've seen over the years, a lot of things can be made in prison. So Mark told me to tweet that he's having his Emery 420 Toronto Raptors jersey made in prison issue. It's hilarious, and I tweeted it, and he says, "Go Raps." So that's out there for Mark, and that's the man trying to make himself as positive as can be in a place that's not very positive at all, but still just trying to be upbeat and keep us all upbeat out here too, and smiling and laughing at how positive he is. So that was tons of fun to hear. And Mark, of course, was following us about 420. The event originated with his organization here 20 years ago. We're in 1995. It's the 20th annual event, and it was the biggest one yet. We had over 200 and some odd booths. We had Marijuana Man as the master of ceremonies, and Adam Bowen helping organize music, and Jeremiah Vandermeer coordinating signs and t-shirts and volunteers, and everybody worked together to make it a tremendous success, the biggest ever. And it was a fun time. Even if it rained a little, it didn't dampen anybody's spirits because we were there in high numbers, and I wonder how many other funny pop puns I might be able to get in there. So but it was a lot of good times with everyone, and I hope that wherever you were celebrating 420, you didn't have any problems with the cops, and you were able to celebrate, be it in a big crowd or by yourself, just thinking about those in our community worldwide who are fighting alongside us for legalization of this wonderful, beautiful plant. And other news over the 420 weekend, which of course got a lot of media, and for those of you who are awaiting the news from Pot TV and Cannabis Culture, we do have some videos out, and we are getting photos, and there's more videos, photos, and articles to come. You can trust that Jeremiah is at home right now working really hard to get through all of that to bring you guys our content, but there's tons of stuff to see otherwise too. But mainstream media covered the event as well, and I want to note that it was impressive to see them focusing on legalization as a publicly accepted idea, instead of focusing on young people smoking pot. Of course, there were young people smoking pot, there always will be, but the media seemed to ask me repeatedly just about how this event might not be necessary because pot should be legal soon, shouldn't it? And of course, I explain how it's still a demonstration of the numbers of people, just a fraction of them, who are still at risk from the criminal law. And so, still lots of great messaging. I think this was a great 420 with respect to just getting national and international news support for legalization, because it's happening, it's happened, it's going to keep happening. So that was a very big success. And as I was about to say, the Trailer Park, or the weekend of 420 was when the Trailer Park Boys 3 movie came out. And a year ago, I was asked to show up and be in the film. Mike Clattenburg wrote me into the script based on something he heard me say in a video. And so I got flown out east to spend a wild day filming, and that movie is now in theaters. So I just shared a picture on Facebook and Twitter of me with Ricky and Bubbles and the director, Mike Clattenburg, taken that day. And it was, like I said, a pretty wild time. And I haven't seen the movie yet. I don't know if I'm actually going to while it's in theaters. There's so much I wish I could do, but not much time. But I should try and get out there and support it, as I hope you do too, if you're a Canadian, because your tax dollars paid for it anyway. So get out there and support our homegrown entertainment industry. Really, it's lots of fun to see the huge support for the Trailer Park Boys in general, because I do support and love our country and our arts, and I really am happy to see these guys be as successful as they are. And from what I hear, they'll be showing in the U.S. pretty soon, so stay tuned for news about that. Now, Mark has written some articles you've seen before about the Huffington Post, or about 420, and it was on the Huffington Post. And they actually ran another article for this 420 based out of the real Huffington Post in New York. These are the bigwigs, the main head shop. They wrote about Mark coming home soon and how this is the last 420 without him. So check that out online too if you get a chance. And media has been so overwhelming lately. There's just endless news about marijuana in general. And I was asked to go to CTV National on Monday. And CTV Power Play had me on talking about just marijuana, medical marijuana, whether or not it's going to be legal, how come the leader of the country isn't going to legalize it, things like that. And I don't have a copy of that video. I don't know if I'll get one, but like I have done before, I just go and say the same thing over and over again about all the reasons why we need to legalize it. And on Tuesday, I was invited to Sun News, our Fox News North, a conservative news network, to talk about the Liberal Party legalization town hall that evening, which I was slated to speak at. So they wanted to do some promo and had me on national Canadian television telling our conservatives audience watching that there is a legalization event in Vancouver and giving reasons why they should also support legalization. So they came to the event that night, which was also a great success. We had 60 to 70 people by my count, and John Conroy, the lawyer, Dana Larson, activist extraordinaire, and Steve Finlay, speaking for Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, and brilliantly spoken as well. I've got to say, he moved me to tears. But the four of us were there to talk about pot and prohibition and to answer questions from the audience, and Sun News was there covering it too. And they had me back again on Wednesday 2 more times, so that's 3 times in 2 days, to talk about the meeting. So to follow up one time about talking about legalization, then I came back again to talk about pot and the Liberal Party event again. So they're following closely about what the Liberals are up to with legalization. And, you know, ending prohibition is not a partisan issue, so I'm all for the Harper Conservatives picking up our goal and running with it too if they'd like, legalize it. And I'd be happy to speak at a conservative event about legalization, so maybe I'll get an invite, who knows. But other news I got yesterday, or on Wednesday, that was yesterday. Not sure if all of you Vancouverites felt that, but those on the island certainly did, and I did too up high. There was an earthquake right off the coast, and I felt it just before going out. The building started shaking. I tweeted immediately. I just run to Twitter. I don't know why. I just instinctively go to Twitter and hashtag earthquake Vancouver shaking. And people asked me if I was just high. And I definitely was not just high. That was actually happening. My cat was spooked out. And it happened a little bit more afterwards too. Thankfully, everyone here was safe. There's no damage. And I just want to say it's a relief to know that some more pressure has been lifted on that fault line, because, you know, natural disasters are way above and beyond our control. And as bad as things can be, like cops and evil governments and prisons, natural disasters can cause huge devastation, and it's always a reminder to be prepared for anything. You never know when you're going to come or go, and you never know when you're going to lose what you've got. So try and be prepared. Get some bottles of water and first aid kits wherever you are for whatever natural disaster you might have. It comes to mind, you know, there could be a big one, and I didn't know if it would be worse, and it just makes you think for a second about what you should do and what's important to you. So just a reminder, be prepared. Don't be scared, just, you know, prepared. So I have some kind of sad news for Toronto people and for myself, because I'm sad too. But Jeremiah and Cannabis Culture and myself, we will not be out there for the Global Marijuana March next weekend. Now, the Global Marijuana March has been going on for many, many, many years, and Mark and I were the parade marshals of Toronto's march for many years too. And after he got extradited, I was invited out to lead the parade, and I did. And we've got like 30 to 50,000 people going out to the Toronto March and the Freedom Festival. But last year I wasn't able to go, and this year also not able to go. It's just financially, really. I think we have a lot of things we really need to invest in here. I want Mark to come home to a beautiful store with a new floor and new signs. And this building was built in like 1896, so it needs a bit of work. And of course, I want to put money into serving our customers' needs, because we want to have the best stock and everything at Cannabis Culture headquarters store, which may have a new name soon. Change is always happening. But there's better uses of that money than just flying all the way out to Toronto, which is stupidly expensive for within our country. I mean, if I get elected, I want to change that somehow. But the flights across from Vancouver to Toronto, that money could be used for better things, and I'm going to have to do that. But I will be out there in a month from now for the Champs Expo, and that's just a bigger, better reason to go. A lot of people will be out there. I can go and meet the suppliers for all the glass in our community and the movement at large. So that used to be the Tweeting Yourself Expo. Now it's the Champs Expo. That's going to be May 23rd, 24th, and 25th, but I believe it's only open to the public on the 24th and 25th. The 23rd is industry types. But I'll be out there, and I'm sure I'll be at Vapor Central in Toronto meeting people and seeing everybody. So make sure you plan your trip to the Champs Expo in Toronto. It's going to be a really good time, and you'll meet me and Jeremiah and Jeremy, our manager of our store too. So we'll see you guys then. I'm going to wrap this up now because it's been a long one, but I'll be back here next week, of course, as usual. And I encourage you guys to check out cannabisculture.com/store and get your free mark gear. We're not going to be printing any more t-shirts or anything. There's no reason to. We're under 3 months in his sentence. So if you want to get anything with that free mark logo on it, good piece of memorabilia, you know, that symbol is pretty well recognized. So get what you can while it's available, and maybe you'll have Mark sign it when he's home this summer. It's happening. So thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys watching Pot TV and supporting cannabis culture, and we'll see you next week. Do what you can to end the drug war. Anything big or small, all helps.